Welcome to Podcast 360, powered by the Podcast Academy. In 3 questions, answered in 60 seconds each, you'll experience a 360-degree view of podcasting and the people who are building out the industry. Company founders will take turns sitting in the seat of both guest and host, creating a chain of podcast knowledge and perspective. These conversations are going to get down to business quickly. Each host will ask their guest 3 questions, and they will have 60 seconds to answer each one. You'll hear the timer counting down their final 15 seconds. At the end, the guest will choose a topic to revisit and dig into a little deeper. Let's meet our experts. Today's host is...
Hi, I'm Jenna Weiss-Berman. I am the co-founder of Pineapple Street Studios, a podcast company, and currently the executive vice president of podcasts at Odyssey, which is the company that bought Pineapple Street about 4 years ago. And last week, I talked to Will Malnati, head of At Will. If you want to hear that conversation, go listen to it.
And who's in the hot seat as today's guest?
I'm Martina Castro, founder and CEO of Adonde Media, a multilingual audio storytelling company.
Before we dig in, we ask our guests to lay out 2 truths and a lie. Our host will guess which is the lie. We'll find out the answer together at the end of the conversation. But our host will have an opportunity to change their answer based on what they learn from our guest. Or they can stick with their first intuition.
Cool. So this show starts with the same thing every time, which is 2 truths and a lie. You have to tell me 2 truths and a lie about yourself. And then at the end of the show, I'm supposed to tell you my guess.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So I got my start in audio in college, where I majored in broadcast journalism, and I got my first internship. Second fun fact is that I started Adonde Media as part of a startup incubator for female founders in Santiago, Chile, South America. And my third is that Adonde started off working on projects in English and Spanish, but now we work in French, Portuguese, and Mandarin.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I know what the lie is. My guess, and we'll reveal the answer at the end. My guess is that you didn't start doing audio in college as a broadcast journalism major.
Okay, well, I guess we're going to find out at the end of this episode, won't we?
Great. Can't wait. Okay, so I have a few questions for you. Maybe this one's too hard, and it puts you on the spot too much, and you can think about it for a second. But what do you think is the most interesting or exciting show or audio product that has launched in the past year?
Ooh. So I just finished listening to The Retrievals.
Oh my God, it's so good.
And it's so good. And it just reminded me of everything I love about audio and about narrative storytelling. It's so funny that that's the first thing I think about. A, it's just the most recent thing I listened to. But B, it doesn't surprise me that it would probably be, if I gave it a lot more thought, the thing that makes me most excited, because it just goes to show that what the bread and butter of what I love about audio storytelling is still the most exciting thing that's happening for me. It's just a matter of going back to the roots, I think, and making a case for why this work should still be done, why we need to find the business models for this to continue to be made.
Really? I love that you brought up the business models for limited run series, because that is a problem a lot of us are dealing with right now. I feel like there are pretty decent paths in that. We're like at Pineapple, we're still, we're selling a lot of stuff to Amazon, Apple, Spotify. They've been really good partners. It covers our budget and a little more sometimes.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, but it's a tough one. The monetization of limited run series, which is sort of what got a lot of us into this space in the first place, including the listeners, not just the people who work in it. Yeah. Weird times. Speaking of weird times in the podcast industry,
I love these transitions.
I mean, just generally, like, how are you feeling about the industry as a whole right now? I know some people are freaking out, some people are excited, most people are a little bit of both. How do you feel about it?
Oh, that's probably all the answer you need. Okay, let me add some words to that. I think I'm feeling cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
I wasn't feeling this way necessarily at the beginning of this year, but I've seen things shift. We've made it this far. I really wasn't sure how this year was going to shape up. And in the end of the day, I think we're going to see a much more consolidated field of players. And the opportunity is also very clear for those who want to come in and make some solutions. I think it's going to be okay. I feel like what you're saying is the listeners will be the ones that are going to ultimately drive us to the answer.
Yeah, I like that. The listeners will drive us.
It's a very public radio answer for you, but I just can't help it. It's funny. We always end up there.
Yeah.
The audience ends up having the answers for us because they're the ones that are consuming this. We listen to them. I think we'll find our way out of this weird time.
Yeah, it is a weird time, but like I've said this a lot, and I said it with Will also, but like I feel like it was almost weirder that we were making so many deals in this space that made no financial sense for so many years.
100%. 100%. I was like, when is everyone going to just say the thing that we all know?
Well, yeah, and it's like,
this isn't...
it's crazy. And sure, like, yeah, things are maybe a little rough right now, but it's like, this is a very necessary transition into having money thrown at you versus having to make money, which, like, if we're going to be a sustainable business, we have to figure that out. So,
yeah, fundamentals of making a business work in the long term. So I think that's all. It can only be positive.
Yeah, I think it's also really possible. It's like we're just like a lot of people I know are already kind of turning things around at their companies. Not that I'm talking about myself, but I think that things are going to look a lot better in like a year at Odyssey than they do now because we're just going to be doing smarter deals.
I really think we need to be smarter and more efficient about how we use our resources too. Totally. Something that we've had to do because we've been bootstrapping from the beginning, but like I track every minute of my team, and I'm thinking about what they're working on, months, if not, quarters ahead. And I think that's going to be to the benefit of everyone, that we're really thinking about how we make things and why, and is it worth making? Is it worth making?
Totally. You sound like a really fun boss, tracking every minute of what your employees are doing.
It's so funny. I hated it when anyone wanted to do that to me when I was an employee. But now that I'm on the other side, I'm like, I promise to my employees, I promise this will end up benefiting you. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you want quality life balance, or work-life balance, it's a matter of us making sure that you've got work and that you are not overworked, because that's the other side. Is I can ensure I'm not going to over assign things. That's and also there are other perks. You get to work from your house.
Yeah, not so bad.
In your pajamas,
Yeah. I wish we would end that, but whatever. I'm not gonna. It's a hill I don't really need to die on. Is getting people back to an office.
Oh, gosh, I know. Yeah. I'm all for the hybrid. I'm eager to have a few days in an office with people.
Totally. I really want to do a hybrid, more of a hybrid than a lot of us are doing at the moment.
Podcast 360 will be right back after a quick break and a word from our sponsors. And now back to Podcast 360.
Okay, so this is a question actually that Will asked me that I thought was interesting. What would you say to somebody who is trying to start a podcast company now? What advice would you give them?
Okay, I got this one.
Great.
So, if I could go back, what I would do is I would have absolutely started with a flagship show. Like, I think right now, one thing that I'm just so upset about with myself about is that, like, I'm 6 years in to having launched a company and I have no flagship show where I have been building my audience slowly but surely over the years with something that was hopefully a weekly show, something regular, something low lift, where I could highlight what we do best, where I could kind of experiment and play, and also be building that core audience where I could kind of get them to understand what we make and market other new shows to them. I think diverse streams of income are a big thing that I wish I had diversified in that direction from the beginning. And now we're trying to do it at the end, and it's way harder.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, hindsight is 20.
Do you agree? Like, isn't that interesting? Like, it's like I would never have thought that in the beginning, that I needed like a show.
Totally. I mean, yeah, there are a million things that I would do differently. But
I know.
Like,
that was an easy one to do in 60 seconds.
You're like, don't do what I did. No, but you've also, I mean, the reason I wanted to talk to you is because I feel like you know, we both bootstrapped companies. We both we've commiserated a ton. I think am I technically like an advisor or like a board member or something?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Still, yeah. As long as you're willing to call yourself one.
I know. I'm thrilled to be, but I feel like we've just like, we've now known each other. I think it's been like many years of doing like usually monthly calls to just kind of mostly to like, you know, bitch about how hard it can be sometimes to really like bootstrap and build a company. To do that, like, you know, as women, that's, you know, I think adds an extra layer of difficulty for us. So it's always been so great to be able to talk to you about just, you know, what's going on in the business. And like, you've built something really amazing. And I feel like you're super well positioned because we're hearing more and more from like advertisers and partners that want to be doing more particularly in like Spanish and bilingual space in audio. And you guys are kind of way ahead on that. So I feel like there are really good things in the future for Adonde.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you remember when all of those articles were coming out about the end, you know, the end of the industry. It's over. It's like, this is back in January. It's like, podcasting's dead. And the only, like, I hated those articles. It was like every week was a new one. And I was like, what am I going to tell my staff now? Like, it's just like, stop, please, media. But one great thing was like, everyone had a caveat. And I was like, but internationally,
totally,
everything, we really see some promise in other markets. I was like, thank God.
That's you.
Because we have anchored ourselves there. Yeah. And I feel like that was just a really lucky, but also, I mean, you know, I don't want to say luck because I think women do that a lot. No, I want to give myself credit for having seen that gap back in 2017, because nobody was thinking outside the United States at that time, at least inside the U.S., and nobody was thinking non-English. And now it's like, man, not just us, but like open Netflix, and you're getting marketed, you know, series in Korean or in German. And we're finally accepting that stories don't have that sort of national barrier or gosh, I'm thinking in Spanish, fronteras. No tienen fronteras. Like, I can't help it. And that's like once we embrace that in audio, I really think this myth that like we've reached peak podcast or something, or like somehow there's just no more audience to be had, will fly out the window. I mean, you know, it's a minority of English speakers in the world, like dramatic, like minority. And stories are compelling beyond languages. We just need to take them into new audiences and into new places. So thank you. I have really enjoyed talking with you over the years. It has been my number one therapy. You have like, you know, pulled me out of the depths of despair on so many occasions, always with so much laughter and such generosity, Jenna. Like, truly, you're always like so sweet to remind me I'm not alone and that nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody else knows what they're doing.
And you're doing great. We're just making it up as we go along, and we're doing okay. Like, you know, we're doing just fine for a while, and it's you know, at least sort of working out.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's go back to Two Truths and a Lie then. my guess is that you just don't strike me as somebody who studied broadcast journalism in college.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
You are good. You're good.
Smarter than that. You're like a laser in journalism.
Yeah. I was a women's and gender studies major. I mean, there you go. Yeah. Like, no.
Totally illogical.
Completely.
Whatever. Once I had a friend in college and I was studying law because I was like, I'm going to have to be a lawyer because that's, rational and I need to make money and whatever. And I told my friend who was studying creative writing and film, I was like, you're just making a really poor decision by doing that. Like, what are you going to do? Like, make movies? And that was Lena Dunham. And she's done just fine.
My gosh. Oh my gosh.
So never take my
She knew what she wanted.
Never take my advice.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, it was really great because it turned out that my one internship was for NPR to be a columnist for their outreach program for minority journalists. And I whooped that into a career. Look at that.
Amazing.
No, it's really cool.
Yeah, you're feeling it.
Yeah, I'm glad we're still in the game, Jenna. I'm proud of us. We're like OGs in this podcasting game.
We really are.
Yeah.
Time to do something else. But anyway, it's fine.
Well, I'm honored to have been chosen to be your interviewee and to continue to be able to count on you for best business advice.
You're the best.
Which is often.
I mean,
thank you.
Let's talk soon because I feel like you had a baby and we haven't caught up in a while.
I know. Things have happened.
Yeah, I really want to hear it. So anyway, thanks everybody for listening. Martina will be back next week and she will be the interviewer next week. So tune in for that. And Martina, do you want to tell everyone how to find Adonde?
Of course, you can find us at Adonde, ADONDE Media on the platform formerly known as Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. So, but adondemedia.com. Ain't hurt nobody on there. Our website, you can find links to all of the shows that we've made in a lot of different languages. So I hope you check it out.
Thank you for listening to Podcast 360, where you experience a 360-degree view of podcasting. Special thanks to the Podcast Academy and DCP Entertainment. Follow us on social media at The Ambies and at DCP Official on Instagram. And subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode.